So yeah, yesterday was a little weird, and I apologize for that. I had to literally shut down my I don't know, I had to completely restore, I guess, all my settings on my computer. So I could have recorded from the phone, but I'm like, okay, I couldn't record from the phone, but I could have recorded just from calling in. I was like, I need to be able to show my screen and talk and not have to think through this. So yeah, and I had a training this morning, so I'm like, I got to fix the sound issue. So I thank you for your grace and mercy yesterday. I thank you for your patience. I am re-recording yesterday's session because of the fact that I had those challenges yesterday. So again, thank you for your grace and mercy, and thank you for your patience. So what I was trying to say, and I'm just high level, is I did run into some challenges, and the one thing that I wanted you guys to do is to look at and consider getting a account with keywords everywhere. That was the one thing I was trying to showcase yesterday. Never did get my Chrome extension to come back, so working on that still. But the one thing I did want to point out was that you can look at a bunch of data, and some of the data that it will give you when you have the account set up is it will give you Etsy specific data. It'll also help you if you're an eBay and an Amazon seller as well. So just sharing that you can get some data that'll help you on your journey. You can come and click on that, look at the details, and it is $10 for 1 year. And that is the reason why I said, yeah, we're not going to spend a bunch of money. Let's first get into profit. We're going to start off with the easy road. And so $10 for 1 year, I can tell you I didn't use all mine up yet. So I just want to encourage you to do that. You get 100,000 searches, which is a lot. So before we get too far into it, what questions do you all have from the day before or from yesterday that I can answer, that I can address, that I can help you with? What questions can I help you with? What can I answer? Anything?
Well, I'm really having problems with Canva trying to create a page. I've
Okay.
got to do a lot of practicing.
Oh, okay. So you've gotten into the free version of Canva?
I do
Okay. And you clicked on, are you starting with templates or are you just talking with a blank page?
a blank page.
Okay. So when you come to Canva, if you're just starting with a blank page, there's a button up here that says create a design. I believe it looks the same on the free version as well, but create a design. And then once you click on create a design, you can start with, we can say just a flyer. This is 8.5 by 11, which most all of us print stuff. If we print stuff, it's printed on 8.5 by 11. That's pretty common. And so you can start with that as your baseline to get started, which is a blank page. So, so how are you able to get to that step? Are you able to click on create a design and then choose flyer? Are you able to get to that step? Okay, I don't know if I lost her. Well, if you are, then you're you're good.
Can can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. What I was interested in, Nicole,
Uh-huh.
my family did a cookbook many,
Okay.
many years ago.
Oh, I love it.
So, so I'm actually interested in using some of those recipes out of that cookbook as my project.
Okay. I love
'Cause-
that.
And we've got, I guess, hundreds of recipes that each family member created. So I'm interested in trying to redo recipe pages.
I love it. That is awesome. That means that you're going to actually have a book when by the time we get to stage 4, you got a whole book ready to go. So if you start off with the blank page, so a flyer page is fine. It's perfect. And this is your blank page. If you were able to click on create design and click on flyers, and then over here you can see my mouse. I'm just going up and down. This is
Okay.
Y-
I can't see your page.
You cannot?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm recording this, so it'll definitely be in the back office. But um, here's text. So you can click on the text box. Once you click on a text box, it's going to ask you what type of font, what type of text you want. So we can start with just by clicking on just a simple text box. And when it comes over to the other page, and I'm just going to increase the size down here at the bottom. I'm just going to circle just a little bit so you can see that. And
Nicole,
yes,
I don't think you're doing screen share because I don't see it either.
you don't see it. Oh my gosh. Well, that doesn't help at all. Thank you.
Yes.
Let me see. Let's try this again. She's like, I can't see anything. I'm like, okay, well, none of that was recorded. So thank you for that. So let me start again. All right, so this is Canva. I'm batting 1,000. So this is Canva. When you log in, it should look pretty much the same, whether you have the free version or the paid version. Can you see my screen now? Is it visible? Is my screen visible now?
Yes.
It is.
Okay, awesome sauce. So then I can click on create a design. This purple create a design. And once I click on create a design, I can choose just to get the 8.5 by 11. I can choose flyer. Not that I'm saying you're going to create a flyer. I'm just giving you a blank sheet of paper. And then once you get to this place, now you have something you can work with. So recipes typically have an image, and they also have text. So the first thing that you can do is, if you want to just bring over the text box first, over here on the side, you have all of your options, different options for different things. You can bring in elements, you can bring in different things. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to bring in text, and I am going to just choose, I can choose a subheading there, a little bit bigger, maybe not yet. So you can either choose, any of these text boxes as a starting point. And up here at the top is where you can, if you click on the down arrow, it'll display all of the different text options, fonts that you have available to you. If you have a specific font that you like, you can choose that. In addition to that, next to that is your font size. So if you're doing a cookbook, I'm going to suggest that you at least do 14 for the text for the cookbook, and then you can choose a font style that you like. I am going to, not that this is not bad. This is what Monostat Classic looks like. To increase the view size of what you're seeing, because right now it just looks itty bitty. I'm only at 28% down here, so I'm just going to move this over to roughly about 60%, so that text box looks a little bigger now. And because it's going to go in a book form, you can keep it centered. Right now the alignment is centered. I can change this text to do left justified or right justified. So whenever I am typing anything for a recipe, so I'm going to go ahead and start the process of typing some gibberish, space, some gibberish, space, some gibberish, space, some gibberish, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to hit return. I got more gibberish. You're normally going to put your description of whatever the recipe is. And then you've got, under normal circumstances, you'll have 2 teaspoons of this and 4 teaspoons of that and 1 cup of this and whatever. So that's all that text that you're going to type all that in. And you can use the alignment up here if you want to create a secondary text box where you want the text on the page to be all the same up here, and then you want the recipe part of it to be different. You can do that, any of that. And then once you have what you want on here, the other thing you can do, so let's say that we're making spaghetti. We can go see if there is an element. So I clicked on the word elements over here. I'm looking for spaghetti. And of course, they have the fake spaghetti, but you probably want a real spaghetti picture, unless you want to use your own pictures. So you can choose one of those pictures, move it up. So it could be part of your book. You can decide, how big or small you want it to be. If you want the words to be on one side and the text to be on the other. You You can decide. And then, fix your text. Um, we'll have to talk about trim size because that's the sides that you have to be concerned about whenever you're getting ready to print. I was just working with my VA the other day about the trim, so always being mindful of that. Okay, so that gives you the opportunity to put your recipe underneath here. And, again, however much text that takes. And then if you want to see what that looks like, I clicked on the two arrows that were pointing out at the bottom, and that kind of gives me an idea of what that's going to look like. To bring it back to my regular size, I can do that. And again, you can always change your display. The great thing about this tool is that you can also display all your pages side by side, which we do that a lot as we've got a lot of books in the pipeline. To do your next page, you can either clone this one if that's the way you want your pictures for your recipes to show up exactly the same. So if you want to clone this page, I can click up here to duplicate the same page and then just replace the image and the text. Or I can just start a new blank page by clicking on Add Page and just continuing to add pages. So I would, once I add the next page, I would do the same thing again. I'd grab the text. I'd look for elements. So if you've got, your next one is maybe, let's say your next one is, I don't know, a turkey. We're going to have to look for a real turkey. I'm sure that there's some elements in here. There's the country turkey. Let me see if there was any more clarification. Turkey, search for turkey. Dinner. That. All right, so now we've got some pictures of turkey. And this is, so I am at this is at the pro level, so you may have to maybe upgrade to the pro level to grab any of these pictures to bring them in automatically, unless you have access to another library of photos where you can use that. But they got a few different pictures that you could use at this level. Bring that over and then start the text again. So,
Okay, question.
uh-huh.
If my first page is a 5 flavor pound cake
Okay.
and I list the ingredients on the first page,
Mm-hmm.
where do I put the directions for making the cake?
So you can make that page too. So this could be
Okay.
where the directions go.
Okay.
So, so I can say that this is the directions page, and I'm going to change this from being center and make it left. And I'm going to make this at least 14. And then you can type all the directions here. And then I'm going to make this wider, sorry. So if I put all the directions here, blah, 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 text, 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 text. So when I'm done, I have my, this is, if this is the spiral bound or this is the book binding right here in the middle, here's my information over here that describes what it is and the ingredients, and here's the directions on how to cook it. So it opens up like a book. And all I did was just click on this little show in a grid so you can see your side by side so that you will know which one's on the right and what's on the left. So that's, again, if you want to start with just creating the recipes first, or if you want to do the cover of your book, you can decide what you want to do. But I love the fact that you're doing a recipe book from your family. The other thing I do want to mention is up here, you can change the text of what the name of this is. Of course, it's all gibberish right now for me. So I'm going to get rid of all these gibberish words, and I'm going to call it Hazel's recipe book. Okay. You can call it whatever you want to. That way you'll always be able to find it and it'll be in your projects so you can see it as a reference. And Cassandra, thanks so much for telling me that you couldn't see my screen. I did not know you couldn't see my screen. So I'm going to change this text because this is bold classic. I'm like, no, I don't want that. There we go. So yeah. So just figure out what your font size is going to be. What I mean, your font is going to be, and then just go with it. Like one of these is probably easier on the eyes. So, all right. And the one thing I will say about books, so having a white background and black words on it, it's pretty common if you want to background where it's like a soft, like a tan or a light gray, super, super light gray. You can do that as well. You just want to be mindful of the more like, so we've created, I don't know, 7 different books. And so when I get the books back, when there's a bunch of color in the back, bunch of color on the pages, that's not a picture. Like if I make this entire thing a different color, instead of being white, it's some other color. It's like, if this is not quite white, okay, this. Something that is a soft white color, not a problem, because then it makes it easier on your reader's eyes. But depending on who your printer is, and whether it's KDP, Lulu, there's some others, sometimes they have problems with the soft color that you put in the background. So I just wanted you to be mindful of that. Photos, I haven't had a problem with them printing photos. It's just sometimes you don't get the consistency on the pages or the consistency in the books samples that you get with the colors in the background. So if it's a soft color, I haven't seen any major problems with it. If it was something that was a little darker than that, like I think this one is like a little darker and this one's a little darker, then it may come back as pink, or it may come back as some other color. You're like, why do my pictures, like book 1 sample I got was pink, book 2 was tan. Like, so they're inconsistent. That's the only thing I want you to be aware of. That's based on my experience. And we've ordered, I don't know how many books. So yeah, just sharing. But I'm excited. That's way down the line. Probably way too much information. You didn't need that right now. But I just want you to know that as you're building the book out. Okay. So congratulations. I love it.
Nicole, I have
So
a question. Oh.
go ahead.
How did you save her information? Because it seems like I'm saving my stuff 2 different ways, and then I'm losing stuff, and I'm like, got to start all over again. So how did you save her information just now?
Up here was a bunch of gibberish right here.
Where?
Up at the top next to my initials, my letters.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
So there was a bunch of gibberish here. And so what I did was I cleared out the gibberish and just renamed it. So that way when I go to home,
Uh-huh.
I can go to my projects. I have Hazel's recipe book here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. I don't know how many, I have a lot of VAs, and so they all have their own projects in here as well. So we have different folders. And so that's the only way that we can keep our sanity, is that everybody creates their own folders. So I tell them they have to name their stuff. They have to name their stuff. Okay. So we're just conditioned to name our stuff. Let me move this to the trash. So keep it clean. But yeah, so you go to your projects and it's right there.
Okay.
Okay. If I had kept that other one, I could have clicked on the pencil and I could have renamed it this here. So then that way I can always find it under my projects. So hope that helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. So Hazel, that should get you started. And what we can do is you can clone your entire project and make each individual page a recipe card, and still have the original version that's in the 8.5 by 11, and also create recipe cards as well. So, you can mix it up. All right. Any other questions I can answer? All right, so we talked about Google Trends. Oh, we did indirectly talk about keywords everywhere. Now we're going to talk about eRank. So eRank, you can create a free account or you can do a paid account. Now I will tell you, there are perks to the paid account. You will gain access to a lot more information if you do the paid account. But as we are early in our journey and we are taking everything step by step, either if you are an existing Etsy seller, then you probably already have a paid version. If you are not an Etsy seller or this is like your first foray into Etsy, I think as we progress through the stage 2 or stage 3, it makes sense to upgrade then. Right now, just getting familiar with what you can or cannot see. So you can see a lot of the fields I can't see because of the fact that it says that I need to upgrade. If I upgrade, here's my choices. Your choices are, unlike keywords everywhere, where it's $10 for the year, you can choose the $5.99 a month. You'll get 100 lookups a day. Sorry, yeah, 100 lookups from the keyword tool. For the listing audit, you'll get 50 lookups a day. For the rank checker, you'll get 25 lookups a day. For competition of other stores, you can check 5 shops. If you want to go with the pro, that's $9.99. I would encourage you to do the $9.99 if Etsy is your full-time gig and you are going to remain consistent doing it. So in other words, like you're committed to creating no less than, 1 to 5 designs a day and putting them up on Etsy every single day. This is going to be your full-time gig and you're going to turn this into a serious monetization opportunity. If you are still in the, I'm trying to figure this thing out, I don't know what I want to do, stay in the free lane. As we advance, you may pay for 1 month of the basic and see if you like the features. And I wouldn't go above the basic if you can't commit more than, 3 or 4 hours to your business a day. So if you can commit 5 hours a week to your business, $5.99 makes sense for you. If you can commit more than 5, like 8, 10, 15, 20 hours, then the pro plan makes more sense if you're going to remain consistent. So hopefully that makes sense. There's some other stuff that you can see inside of here. You can see the top sellers, 200 lookups a day, listing changes, listing analyze, which can be very helpful to analyze listings, keyword explorer. So you get some of these features anyway with the free version. It's just limited. So you don't get the bulk keyword tool. You don't get top sellers. You don't get competition tracker. And so that's what you don't get with the free. But again, you're starting your journey early. So, we're just going to just look around first and get used to it. So one of the things that the Keyword Explorer, which is I think the first thing that they keyword tool. Okay. So under tool, keyword tool, keyword explorer, keyword list, we're going to look at Keyword Explorer. So this is the free version. And I can look up some words. Okay. So if I'm going to look up some words, I will look up the word scripture, because I know that Charlotte's project is centered on scriptures or including scriptures. Okay, you can call them devotional cards, you can call them whatever, different things, but there's some information I'm going to see up here at the top immediately. So average searches, this average searches is average searches per month. Okay, so there's 628 average searches per month based on Etsy's data. Click-through rate, people clicking on it, again, giving you some monthly stats. And then, clicks and then click-through rate. CTR is click-through rate. Average clicks is just clicks. So these are clicks on the listing just to look at it, and from the searches, and then click-through rate. Most of the time, if there's a click-through rate like that, means a person is truly interested in it and they're potentially a buyer or they bought it. So taking it one step further. And then this is your competition. How much competition can you expect for this word? So this particular word has high competition. So this is where I use my buddy, the thesaurus, to see, okay, is there another word that I can put into my listing that has a lower competition rate, but that is also connected to the word scripture. So those two combined can help you come up with a nice array of words that you can use to help you think about, what are the tags I want to put on my listing, and or what are the words that I want to include in my description or my title. Okay, so as I go down through here, I can see, just based on the word scripture alone, the Etsy competition. So the only thing that I really can see right here is I can see long tail keywords, and I can see Etsy competition. And then character count is not, that's how many characters I have available to me. But you can see what the competition looks like. So for you, Miss Charlotte, scripture cards printable, look at the competition based on the Etsy. So using that phrase, using that as a tag can help you. Scripture cards, again, looking at your competition. This is just some basic information. Again, if you want to get into the weeds about it, you literally can go and upgrade to the higher level and get more detail. But right now, it looks like based on these two scripture cards and scripture cards printable, you have low competition. So the opportunity exists for you. Okay. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. So I can keep scrolling down and continuing to look and see what's available to me and potentially, what I can go after. So there's scripture cards with the S printable, and then scripture card with no S, with just the card. And then you can see what the competition is. So if you have the free version, you are limited on the number of searches you can do in a day. So if we go back to the tool, says I get 50 lookups a day. Listing audits, I get 25 a day. Rank checker, I get 10 a day. Keyword lists, 1 list. So I don't get as much. And then using Keyword Explorer, I got 5 lookups a day. So I've already done 2 of my free tool. And I think I did necklace earlier. So if I go back to Keyword Explorer, that's what I did earlier. I can see what the competition is from a high level. Competition is super high over here. 3 million, 3.5 million. So average searches per month, much higher than it is for scripture. Average clicks per month, much higher. Click-through rate, much higher. The click-through rate for scripture was 87. The click-through rate for this one is 92. So again, higher, much higher. So there's a bigger search for this. You see far more red now as I go through, and I see a bunch of red long tail keywords. That means that this particular long tail keyword phrase, specific and most commonly used, like, okay, no, it's not helping with the conversions. So long tail keywords are not helping with the conversions here, whereas with Charlotte's, with scripture, the long tail keywords were helping with the conversions. So just keeping that in mind. So I don't think any of you, I don't know if you make jewelry. I mean, you may all be extremely blessed and talented with your ability to do different things, to create products. Like you may be a knitter, or you may be a painter, or you may be whatever. So, coming in here and figuring out what is your, what's your skill, what's your craft, what's your ability. If you have some gifts, then come in here and take a look at those as well. But just keep in mind, using the keyword tool, you only have Keyword Explorer, you only have 5 searches. Then we come to keyword tool. So I go back to scripture. We're going to see how much data they're going to give me. Okay. So they analyzed 100 listings, total views, um, average price, average daily views, average weekly views, a bunch of words, the word that comes up the most, scripture art with the most tags, scripture cards, scripture. So, you know, whatever you create, Charlotte, you may have an opportunity as you continue on this journey to create some scripture wall art. Your competition appears to be low. And so there's an opportunity to take those scripture cards and convert them into or repurpose them. I love repurposing stuff. That means I don't have to recreate it, repurposing it for some other use. So, wall art. As I continue to come down here, again, some of the same data that I saw before to some extent, not exactly, but and here's the scripture cards that we looked at before. I'm getting some trend data. So, trend data is up, searches have gone up in the last and most recently. Okay. So that's some interesting data to know because it was down, 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 and then it's gone up. So whatever has happened, something, I don't know, has anything major happened? Maybe people are looking for scriptures, unfortunately, for all those families that lost loved ones in Uvalde. I don't know. But, you know, there seems to be an uptick in scripture cards and in searches for scripture cards. So you can take advantage of that and you maybe use that to your advantage. Google searches. This is your Google search data and your long tail keywords. So what I would encourage you to do is come in here and pick maybe one or two words because you're limited on the number of searches you can do just to play around with this. And as you begin the process of continuing to create your listings, because we should all, hopefully, I don't know, we should all at least have maybe 4 listings at this point live on Etsy, if not 3. You can come in here and next week, as we go start again on Sunday, hit the reset button. We're going through all through next week. Start to gradually improve what your results are for your listings and start building better listings and getting better on this journey. So there's a lot of great information here. Price range, again, for you, Miss Charlotte, like we know that the scripture cards are going to be a low cost, but having scripture wall art, charge more. You can go out there and start doing some level of research to see what that is. So, does anyone find this interesting? Is anyone currently using this? Anyone at all?
I'm not, but now that I see what it can do,
You're going to start. Yeah. Cassandra, were you already using this tool or no?
I have dabbled in it, not much though.
Okay. I do want to encourage you to start looking at the tool. And we'll talk about more of some of the features, you know, again, maybe tomorrow or next week as we continue to, you know, go from stage 1 to stage 2. So this is more of an introduction to the tool. I do want to encourage you, come in here, look at the tools. You have options. You have the ability to look at if you're not really sure what they're going to allow you to do at the free level. Again, you can come back, make a note, write it down, like, okay, it's going to let me do these things. It's going to let me look at, you know, it'll let me use the keyword tool 50 times today. It'll let me use the listing audit 25 times. So I'm going to go find that. It'll let me use the rank checker 10 times. I'm going to go find that. It's going to let me do keyword lists, 1 list. Okay, fine. You know, so go write down everything it's going to let you do. I get to go use the keyword explorer 5 times, and that's with the free version. So then write down all the ones you can do and then come look at it and see what it does for you. See how it helps you on your journey to getting better at creating listings and putting tags in there so your listings can be found. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we're working to monetize this thing. We're just starting off at an entry level and then we're advancing on from there.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes,
Has
ma'am.
has anyone on the panel listed a listing on Etsy and sold it?
Yeah, I have. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
a few.
Did somebody else say something?
Yes, I've sold a few.
Oh, great. Now I have another question, maybe off the grid a little bit. Um, and I want to ask this why I got you all on here. I noticed some of the niches that are things that we can sell on Etsy. What is considered vintage clothing? How do you determine what's vintage and what's not?
I mean, we'll just start with anything that's not right now, pretty much. You can sell stuff from the 80s, clothes from the 80s, from the 70s, even the 90s. If there's a certain look, like there's the stuff that Madonna used to wear in the 90s, that would be considered vintage. The stuff that people wore in the 80s would be considered vintage, and 70s will be considered vintage. So do you have a lot of clothes that you're holding on to that you
I've got over 500 pieces of clothing that was given to me.
okay?
And right now they're on my couch, which looks really bad. But I did, and I saw where anything with the metal zipper in it is vintage
Hmm. Okay.
because that was made before 1965, according to that Google search. So
Very
I just wanted to ask.
okay. Okay. Yeah, that's all 70s, 80s. See if they have. Nope. I don't know that there's probably a definition in here somewhere. Clothing. Probably in the seller's guide. I'll go look for that and see if they actually just have a section. Plus, I shared the seller's guide. What day did I shared it last week?
I printed it off. Yeah, I have it.
Okay. Well, that okay. Well, I don't know if it was meant to be printed off, but yes, you can print it off. What you could do is there's some hyperlinks in there. Seller's guide. That dog is losing his mind.
I'll check it out later. Sorry I threw you off.
It's okay. So I'll go look too. So then that way we can talk about it tomorrow and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So this is what I want to encourage. It is Saturday. I really want everyone, if you have the opportunity, to finish strong, despite the dog barking in the background. So you still have time to create your products and create your listings if you haven't gotten your 3 at a minimum. Your 4 is your challenge, your stretch challenge. Get your 4 listings up. This week coming up, our goal is to get no less than 6 listings up. Okay. So let's work on that. 7 would be fantastic if you can do all 7. So we want to push ourselves to get as many of the listings every single day, building that habit of consistency around, putting up listings. We know at the beginning I'm not saying we don't care about perfection, but we're starting with working to build the habit of consistency and the routine, incorporating Etsy activities into our day-to-day life. So carving out that window where we're going to work on Etsy. So if that's every day from 6 to 7 or every day from 6:30 to 7:30, that's fine. You've carved out that time that you've committed to working on your Etsy business for at least an hour. Okay. So we're working to build that muscle. We're going to build that muscle, and then we're going to use that consistency to help us to scale our business. Right.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Now you say listing. Are you saying different products or
Yes.
listing considering the product that we're working on now?
Okay. So your first one is smoothie recipes. I'm sorry, this dog. We got to do something. So the first one is smoothie recipes. And so with smoothie recipes, you can do maybe the first thing that you sell is a 3 3-item or 3-fruit smoothie recipe, and you're going to sell 10 of them, 10 cards. So that's product number 1. Then product number 2 can be smoothie recipes, 3 vegetables, and you're going to sell 10 cards. And then product number 3 can be 20 recipes that are fruits. And then product number 4 can be 20 recipes that are vegetables. And product number 5 could be 10 recipes that are fruits and vegetables, 5 fruits, 5 vegetables. And product number 6, so you see where I'm going with this? You're staying with your trend because you're building out a long-term product line that's around your theme. So you're creating the recipe cards. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use these recipe cards all over again. Those first 10 that you created for the fruit, you can use them again in your 20 that you're going to sell 20 fruit. 3 fruits, 20 cards. You can also recycle them again and use them, sell them in a different way. Sell them in your fruit and vegetable combo. That's 20 cards. So you can repurpose them however many times you want to. You're just giving people a variety. You're creating different bundles of your product. So at the end of the day, what you may have created is a grand total of, 40 recipe cards or 50 recipe cards, and you're mixing and matching them up to create different products that show up on Etsy. And you're going to find one of those combinations that's going to resonate with your avatar, with your audience, and it's going to take off above the others. And that'll help you long term. Huh?
I said, okay. I just wanted to understand, because I said I must be understanding that wrong. How am I going to get 4 products out of these 5 smoothie recipes that I have?
Yeah.
Now, can I start off with 5? So can I start off with 5?
You can. Now, here's the deal. Looking at your competition, if you're starting off with 5 and your competition has an average of 10 recipe cards or 15 or 20, you got to go do that research. Then, you can start off with 5, but at some point, you at least want to make sure that either your product stands out, something's different about your product compared to your competition that makes it so someone be interested in your 5 recipe cards versus their 10 or 20 recipe cards.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. It makes sense. Now I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But we want to mix and match it. So at the end of the day, you may ultimately create a grand total of, you may come up with a total of 50 recipes, and you can mix and match that so many different ways. And so at the end of the day, you'll have not just, a listing of 50 recipes, but you could have 100 listings that you've mixed and matched using the 50 as the base.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something else that's complementary to smoothies, you can go do that research. Maybe there's some other either simple meal, quick meal, fast meal that's complementary to smoothies that you think, okay, this is perfect. And so the thing that I think of right now, I'm trying to think of what they're called. Oh my God, it's not coming to me at all.
Smoothie bowls.
Well, they are smoothie bowls, but they don't call them that. Hold on. I have a place that's right down the street from me, Sibelius. I'm going to mess up the name of this store all day long. They're right down the street from me, and we go there all the time. And we get I forget what they're called. What is he called? Smoothie bar. What is this bowl's called? I'm not going to remember, only because I forget what the bowls are called, but they're called something else, because you can actually get them in Aldi's now. And I'm like, what?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget what they're called. But anyway, so it's a thing. Smoothies, Ackee bowls. There you go. So Ackee bowls. And so maybe you make the smoothie part of the Ackee bowl, So you can say, okay, now that you've made this smoothie, convert it into an Ackee bowl. So then you go down.
Ackee just a fruit?
Ackee is a fruit, but there are Ackee bowls that don't have any, like you don't always have to put. They're just calling them that. I'm like, okay,
oh,
fine.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just saying that you can take that smoothie, put it in a bowl, and then put a whole bunch of sliced fruit on top of it. So I was like, okay. And so that may be the thing that you decide that you want to, that's the next thing you want to work on. So find as many of your 3 recipe. You could, I can see yours going from a 3 content smoothie to a 5 content smoothie to a 7. So people know, okay, if I want to create something that's more than just 3 different pieces of fruit in it, I can choose the 5. So you can mix and match this all day. Like by the time you're done, you could have like 100 to 100. You can have 100 different products. I'm telling you. And then taking that and then going, okay, now let's make some bowls. Okay, so then you have a recipe book that you've created, not necessarily by accident, but intentionally. So you'll be able to sell that, and then you'll be able to sell the bowls as well because you already had the recipe work done. So again, just taking it to the next level. So by the time we're in stage 4 or before the end of the year, you could be selling 2 different books, and your books will be in a position to sell like crazy, especially when people are ready to reset their life at the beginning of the year. So if you continue working on it and being diligent, being consistent, focusing, you'll be able to produce and have 2 books, 2 KDP books, or you can produce them on Lulu, you can produce them on different platforms long term, and we'll get there. But you can produce those books and make them available on different platforms. You can also get to the place where your books are available inside of stores.
Wow.
I'm just saying. So it can definitely go a lot of different ways. You have the potential. So anyway, yeah, this place is right down the street from us. So I never remember what it's called. But yeah, they do a bunch of different things. So, go look into it and see what, your next step is. But expand it out and think about all the potential combinations that you could be putting into a smoothie. Go find a bunch of recipes and use that to your advantage and start separating them out into, these are ones that are 3 fruits, this one is 5 fruits, this is 7 fruits, and just continue down that path. This is one that's all vegetables, this one's fruit and vegetables, this one is 2. You'll have a giant spreadsheet. Now you can create all that in Google Sheets so that way you can keep track of it, so that you'll know what kind of book you're publishing and a long-term bigger picture when you get to stage 4.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope this is helpful. I hope you all continue down the path of producing products and getting them listed so that we can get the habit of consistency of creating a product, creating a cover photo, and then putting that on Etsy, a cover image, and keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Getting used to creating listings and with the titles and doing some research and making sure that it includes everything and uploading your files. So you're getting more and more comfortable. That's the goal of stage 1, is to continue to get comfortable with the platform and to be consistent. All right. I will see you all tomorrow. And if you are in the heat like we are here, oh my gosh, find some AC and some ice. And with that, I will say goodbye for now. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.